here, welcome back to my channel. I am really excited to be talking about this. So this is a collab video. I'm collaborating with V over at V Love and Crystals. I will have a link to her channel down below, so make sure you go check out her responses to this prompt. But the prompt we decided to do together is our most empowering decks. I don't think we officially limited it to 5, but I self-limited, and I'd like a round of applause because I never self-limit. Usually I'm like, what's my limit? I'm not gonna put a limit on myself. My voice is just ever so slightly scratchy and hoarse from my talk yesterday. At the time I'm filming this, it is Monday. I did my talk on Sunday. Anyway, I am a squirrel. So we're gonna jump right into this. I did not, however, limit myself to tarot or oracle, so I have a combination of both. So if you are interested in my top picks for most empowering decks, stay tuned. Okay, so let me just jump right in because I can't make anybody, including myself, wait. The first deck I picked, and it came to mind immediately, is the Sasuraibito Tarot. When it comes to empowering decks, this is definitely top on my list. I feel like the artwork really depicts the journey of somebody who is working through self-worth and self-care, somebody who's got a lot of healing to do and has been through some stuff or is going through some stuff. I think that this deck is incredibly emotive, and it just gives you a glimpse into, like, look at this. This is the 6 of Cups, and you see this coming out, all this like blooming coming out of the heart and like looking up at the flowers, and it's incredibly emotive. The pain in this 3 of Swords is so real. Ooh, oh no, I threw a card and it was the Death card, like even the Death card. And interesting how there's also flowers blooming out of the heart space of the Death card. Queen of Wands. But I absolutely adore this deck. I think it's a wonderful deck for reclaiming power, for stepping into the light, for healing, for working through self-love and self-worth issues, and I just think it's a great all-arounder. I mean, this Queen of Cups, look at the heart in her third eye and the way she like clutches this bowl, and it's just like, oh, she's everything. And this is one of my favorite cards of all time because the 9 of Cups is probably my favorite tarot card, period, in any deck, depending on how it's depicted, obviously, but it's my favorite card, so it's one of my cards I really look for. And this shows so much emotional contentment within yourself and self-love, but it's not coming from outside of yourself. It's like this inner self-worth and self-love, and it's one of the reasons I love this deck so much. So that is, again, the Sasuraibito Tarot. This is by Stasia Burrington. That is what the backings look like. I'm pretty sure this deck is still in print and available, and she has a website, which is sasuraibito.com. I'll try to have links to everything down below. But that is the Sasuraibito Tarot. Definitely a top favorite for decks that empower people. An oracle deck that I reach for regularly whenever I want that boost of empowerment for myself or my clients is the Sacred Rebels deck by Blue Angel Publishing. So this one is an Alana Fairchild deck, and I've trimmed mine so it's a typical Blue Angel deck with the borders, and I think Blue Angel decks often look absolutely stunning trimmed because they usually put the text for the card on the image, so once it's trimmed it looks like it was always meant to be borderless. They are glossy, and I apologize for the glare, but this will give you a general idea. There's something about this energy. This is very much another reclaiming, empowering deck. I think it really speaks to stepping into your power. Again, I think there's a lot here about looking after yourself. It is a very feminine-oriented deck, whereas I feel like the Sasuraibito Tarot is a lot more balanced masculine-feminine. This one I think features exclusively female characters, so this is wonderful specifically for female empowerment. It's not necessarily one I would reach for my male clients, but I really personally have gotten a lot out of working with this deck. It's one of the few sort of classic mass-market oracle-style decks that I truly love and don't think that I would ever rehome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that is the, excuse me, Sacred Rebels deck. There we go. Please forgive my throat. I'll try to take frequent sips of coffee so that I don't get too scratchy. So next up is one that I've had in my collection for also quite a long time. It's one of the first independent decks I think I ever purchased. And that is the Self-Love Oracle by Janet Cui. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but it is absolutely beautiful. When I got this deck, it was only available from her website directly, and I believe she's in the Philippines. And I just remembered feeling really like excited to order directly from an artist, because I don't think I'd ever done that before. So her website is janetchui.com. Oh, there it is. And again, I will try to have links to everything down below, but if I forget, please feel free to nudge. This is what the backings look like. I'm not overly fond of this like glowy font she uses, because I think it sometimes doesn't show up very well in photos, but in person it does read pretty well. So this one is Spend Time Alone. Now these cards are all self-love themed, and they have a title, and then they also have a bit of text down below. So I don't really ever use the guidebook with this deck. I'm also not always a fan, definitely, I shouldn't say not always, I'm not really ever a fan of decks that have some portrait and then some landscape cards. But I mean, it's a unicorn, so I can make an exception. I do think that these cards are all really beautiful. They're very nurturing. It's wonderful if you're working on a self-love or self-worth practice to have a tool like this that will give you messages specifically around that topic. I think that's really important. I love this card so much. Just the resting under the tree with all of the like ribbons and then like moonlight, and it's just rest is the key word. I just love that. This is just really, really great. Learn. Again, glossy, but really beautiful. And Janet Chui does all this watercolor painting herself. Oh, that one's that way. I really love this. Again, I think it features exclusively feminine figures. This is something that's missing, I think, in the empowerment space, in the self-worth space, in the self-love and self-care space, is decks that include men. At all, let alone in a balanced way. I think that's something we need more of, because of course men and non-binary folks and other folks that are not necessarily female or feminine appreciate these kinds of messages too. Just a nod out there to any publishers. I think that's important, and I think that it gets forgotten, and I don't always love that. Peggy's running the garbage disposal. Her timing is amazing. I don't know how audible that is. We'll see. Okay, my next two are real powerhouses, and this next one is extremely potent, and I will give you a warning right now. This is not one you want to watch if you are at work. This is not one you want to watch with anyone under the age of 18. This is definitely an adult eyes only kind of deck, but it is probably, no, not probably, this is my most empowering tarot deck, period. And I don't think anything will ever completely match it. This is the Sluttiest Tarot. Let me see if I can find my title card, because I don't remember which edition it is. Does it say? No, it doesn't say, but it's the most recent, I believe, edition. This is what the backings look like. Now, I got this actually as a bit, I thought it was going to be a novelty deck. I thought this was going to be kind of a naughty, adult-themed deck that might be fun to look at issues around sexuality, around anything along those lines. I thought this would be a great deck for those purposes specifically. And the artwork is extremely challenging to me in some ways. It's very bold and makes no apologies for what exactly this deck is. And yet, the guidebook for this deck is incredible. Absolutely incredible. The messages for every card are super empowering. They're very much about being in your power. They're very, very healing and potent, and I absolutely fell in love. Peggy and I did a live walkthrough, like flip through first impressions of this deck. And as we were pulling the cards to show them on camera, and as I was reading the messages from the guidebook, which is in digital format, it's like a Kindle, well, I have it on my Kindle, it's like a PDF guidebook. As we were going through the messages, I was completely blown away by the messages, because they are so good. There's a lot of depth to this deck, and I think it doesn't look like the kind of deck that would have that kind of depth. At least it didn't to me, but it really had so much depth. The artwork is, to be completely honest, not my favorite style. And yet there's so much sass and personality and power. Like, look at this Six of Wands. I also think this deck queers very well. I think it does gender and diversity very well. From my own personal perspective, I freaking love this card, which I'm sure none of you will be surprised by. But it's very, very powerful, and I really thought this was going to be at best a novelty deck, and it turned out to be my go-to if I need an empowering message for myself. this is the deck I want to read with every single time. And it's really, really interesting because I didn't think I was going to have that kind of relationship with it. And I absolutely, absolutely do. And I have the most adorable Peggy bag for it. Look, with all the like lingerie on it. It's so cute. Anyway, love this. Love, 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 love. So yes, highly recommend if it's something you think you can work with, and it's not going to be comfortable for everybody to work with, but if it's something you think you can work with, the messages in the guidebook are, and the way that it looks at things like power and some of the archetypes of the tarot are just very profound and very healing, particularly if you've been through significant disempowering experiences in your life. This is a really, really good deck. The last one I'm going to talk about is a more recent one to my collection, recent-ish. This was an Indiegogo that I backed, and it is the Personal Power Oracle deck by Deja Druitt. I love Deja Druitt's decks. This is her second deck. Her first deck is called the My Quality Time Self-Care deck, and I have that one. I love that one, but I wanted to pick just one to feature, and this one is so perfect for decks that are empowering. This is actually a deck, I don't even have it in a Peggy bag because I have this deck out for me all the time, and I just regularly will draw a card and put it on display and use that card for myself. The backings are absolutely gorgeous. They are like this mirror design, and then they are edged in a gorgeous magenta. And then you have these really powerful phrases. I am sacred. There's wonderful diversity, really potent artwork. This is very much an empowering deck. That's its entire point, is to be empowering. The Personal Power Oracle deck. Absolutely love all of these messages. And so I always have one. I mean, look at this. I always have one of these cards on display for myself just to look at as I, you know, move around my day and come in and out of my room. Absolutely, absolutely love this deck. This one is also still available. I don't think anything I've shown you is out of print. I'm pretty sure everything can be got, so I will try to make sure to have links. I keep saying that, but I'll try to make sure to have links down below. If I've remembered, I believe I will link my full flip through of this deck up in the cards when I'm showing them, and I think I have a full flip through of the Sasuraibito, so I'll link that one as well. But either way, it should be pretty easy to find more information and more images on these. Love this one though. Look at this. You are very powerful, provided you know how powerful you are, is the quote on the inside of the box. Love, 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 love. So thank you so much to V over at V Loving Crystals. This was a super fun collab to do with you. Everybody make sure you click on V's channel down below. Check out her channel, check out her answer to these prompts. I can't wait to see what empowering decks she chose. See if we have any of the same ones or if she has all different ones for me to explore. But I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!